It's really nice to be here. I don't generally do many gigs where the mic stands in a worse condition than me. It's quite nice to be here. This seems like a really nice gig. I like the whole idea of the content warnings and things. I'm not too sure how well it's working though, because I've not even started yet and the door's alarmed, so... Just continue with the tradition of one bad pun in every set. I just thought I'd do that. Yeah, hello, hi, I'm John Porter. Hi, how you doing? You alright? I'm disabled, by the way. I mentioned that because, well, I kind of have to, really. Much the same way if I came on with a gun, you'd all be going, what the fucking hell's he doing with that? So, yeah, I just try and get it out of the way early. I don't know why I mentioned guns at the minute, because obviously there's a big controversy going on about potentially video games making you violent. Now, my childhood was nothing to write home about, which is probably good, because I was at home most of the time anyway. But to be honest, I played a lot of video games, and I don't think I've ever turned violent. Admittedly, it would require an energy that I probably don't possess, but even still, I can't really see the link between video games and violence. I mean, I played Pac-Man a lot when I was growing up, and while I've chewed a lot of pills and listened to some repetitive music, I've never shot anybody. Played Sonic a lot. I've never been known to chase rings, although I believe some people do, but that's fair enough. I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure about using that one tonight. It went alright, didn't it? It went alright. So that's good. Yeah. Well, with one person, but, you know, percentage-wise, I'll take that, you know. The worst that's going to happen to me is you're going to start throwing things at me and it's the world's saddest game of Space Invaders, because I'll just be moving side to side. But, you know, I'll live, it's fine. Yeah, so I said I mentioned I'm disabled. I do that for a reason. It's to get it out of the way. And to be honest, it's my thing. Without it, I'd just be another straight white male talking about being single. So, you know, I need a hook. I mean, not literally, my arms are fine. I didn't even fucking write that. Oh man, I love this stage. I've done a show here before, we'll come to that. But yeah, I mention it when I come on stage, just to make things a bit easier for everybody. I never used to reference it when I first started because I didn't really want to. I didn't want to be the guy known as the disabled comedian, but then I realised there's a spot on every bill for someone like that. So, I mention it and generally I find it goes fine. It's generally alright. So, some people, maybe not so much. Comedians can be a bit strange, I mean, come on. But sometimes they'll come up and, audience members, great, never had a problem with an audience member, ever, even in Wigan. But comedians, less so. One of the first times I ever did material about my disability, I have cerebral palsy. It's not like Alcoholics Anonymous thing, I just thought I'd let you know. And I said, I did a bit of material about it, and he said, oh yeah, that was it. I'm sorry, I never used to tell people what it was, so like telling you is kind of just my way of getting it out there. I never used to say, I just used to point out the obvious, that I had a disability. When you need a Sherpa to get on stage, you know, it's worth pointing it out. But I never used to say what it was, and then shortly after that a guy came up to me and he said, do you mind if I ask you what your disability is? And I said, no, it's cerebral palsy, and his response was, oh, that's not so bad. Yeah, cheers for that, Dr. Shipman, yeah, I really appreciate it. Didn't know whether that should have been in a content warning, but I figured the gig's not in Hyde, so I should be alright. So yeah, it's worked with me and against me, and it's alright. I mean, it makes me I think it's made me funnier in a way, because I've developed the ability to respond sarcastically to people that say stupid things to me. It did kind of cost me my benefits though when I went to an ATOS assessment, and after 20 minutes of being questioned about my disability, I said, look mate, I can prove my disability in 2 easy steps, but... I always see that joke as an audience intelligence test, and I'll be honest, there was about 2 seconds there where I thought, shit, no, it's not worked tonight. But I try to find ways to have a bit of a more interesting life. One of the other things I should clear up for you, and Johnny kind of referenced it in quite a humorous way, I think a few people have tonight. Just because I happen to be from a specific group, in this case disabled people, does not mean I know other disabled people, right? So please stop fucking asking me. I mean, it's getting to the stage now where I'm sure people are convinced there's some sort of club for disabled people, and there isn't, right? So I mean, if there was a club for disabled people, where the fuck would we all park outside anyway? Gonna be honest, that's my favourite joke, it's all downhill from here, but I'll take downhill, it's easier. So, I'm aware that I talk a lot about my disability, right? But the way I see it, fuck you. There's not really much more to my argument than that. It's not a sensible, reasoned argument. It's just, it's my thing and that's what I want to do. Generally, I find it works out alright. It's just that some people don't see it the same way I do. Some people don't like it. Comedy reviewers don't like it. They see it as like a 1-nil act type thing. I read a review about me recently that said John Porter, disabled heavy set, and I thought, is that a review or a fucking description? I mean, I sense some resistance to that in the room, but ultimately I'm only calling myself fat, not you, so I don't see the big deal, to be honest. But yeah, I started doing comedy because, to be honest, there's not a lot else for an immobile person to do. The nice thing about this is I get 10 minutes sat down. When I was travelling on Northern Rail, I would have taken that every fucking morning, you know. But, it's a nice job. I've really enjoyed it. The time I've been doing it, it's been a lot of fun. I've done the Edinburgh Festival twice. I didn't do it this year because I no longer make enough money. Yeah, I've done the Edinburgh Festival twice. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. If I'm honest, the amount of people in here tonight was my combined audience for the week I was there, but such is life, there you go, you know. I think generally though I enjoyed it. I think it made me a better comedian, it made me more able to talk to crowds. I enjoyed myself a lot more. The only thing that really pissed me off is that I actually made more money outside my gigs than I did inside them. Some Japanese tourists who appeared convinced that me walking was some sort of experimental street theatre. Didn't really know what to do about that. Yeah, so generally I enjoy what I do. I do enjoy what I do. I try and find ways to get through the day. I work in IT, by the way, which is why I'm really awkward and can't look any of you in the eye. It's interesting having a day job that isn't being a comedian when people at your job know you're a comedian, because oftentimes they'll say something to me that they think's funny, and to be honest with you, architects aren't funny. And when I don't laugh or when I don't respond, they say, I thought you were a comedian. It's like, well, yes, but not all the fucking time. Like, you know, did he say that to porn stars? You know, I'm not too sure, you know. In the same way that when I do a gig and something goes wrong with the technical setup, nobody says, I thought you worked in IT. You know, I'm not expected to do my other job, which is fine, you know. I've got to say, I absolutely love Gullivers. I love doing this gig. It's a lovely small room. I actually did one of my shows in here, and it was fucking wonderful. I really enjoy it, and I've been single for a long time, and yes, I know, white man talks about being single. I'm sorry. I won't mention Tinder, so we can at least cut that out. I've been single for quite a while, but I actually met somebody when I did a gig here that I have quite a bit of affection for now. I'm not too sure it's going to work out, but I've had some time to think about it. I think it might not be the worst thing in the world. Because it turns out she's an archivist, so the way I see it, that means she'd be storing things up to have a go at me for later. Yeah, not too sure about that one. The other thing that I found out about her recently, we got any Dungeons and Dragons players in?
Hey.
Do you know, I would have put money on that. Yeah, I shouldn't say that, because she plays D&D. But I know nothing about it. Basically, the only thing I really know about it is the random stuff you have to do, and I can kind of see it ending that way when I finally tell her how I feel. I love you, I don't feel the same way. Roll a persuasion check? That joke won't work in any other room, but I'll here tonight, so that's alright, isn't it? Yeah, to be honest, I just find myself spouting shit when I come up here, to be honest. I always come up with a plan, and then after about 5 minutes, it's just gone out the window, you know what I mean? I have nothing, you know, I have nothing to say that isn't stupid a lot of the time. And it's kind of weird, I think, obviously I'm quite an awkward person, so it's not the easiest thing for me to do, and I drink a lot, so I have a bad memory. I go out a lot more now, actually. I've been in Manchester for a while. My friends are fucking masochists, though, as they always insist I'm going to the place with like 7 stories, you know what I mean? Climbing up to the 7th floor to go for a fucking drink, you know. And then it's one of them where you've had like 1 drink and they're like, right, time to move on. Fuck you, I've stayed here. I live in Manchester now. I've been living in Manchester for about a year. I absolutely love Manchester, I always have. It's helped me a lot as a person. I come from a stereotypically northern working class background, right? So generally I've struggled a lot with like containing my emotions, because when you're northern you're not supposed to show your emotions, are you? Like, in my family, you know, the women show their emotions and the men show their arses, you know. I'm going to get that on a tea towel one day, but... Yeah, the other thing is you do grow up with a little bit of intolerance. There's no way to, you know, sometimes when you are from a working class background you do, and I think that being in Manchester's actually helped me because it's an extremely diverse city. I've learned a lot about different cultures, different people, different things. One of the things I've learned a lot about recently is veganism, because two of my best friends are vegan. I realise that sounds like I'm making a public apology for saying something about vegans. Two of my best friends are vegan, but no, they are. And to be honest, I'm kind of bored of the vegan trope in jokes, where you keep hearing that thing about, oh, you know if somebody's a vegan, don't worry, they'll fucking tell you. Well, I'm bored shitless of that joke, so I decided to write a joke for vegans. And it's about open mic comics. How do you know if an open mic comic is going to do a shit joke about vegans? Don't worry, they'll fucking tell you it. So yeah, there's all kinds of intolerances, of course, and we've seen quite a few of them recently, usually in Salford, I find, but there you go. One of the ones my friends have is celiac, which is intolerance to gluten. Other one of my friends are celiac, which means they break their heart and shake their confidence daily. I'm never sure if that'll work in a younger audience. And you know what, every time it does, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking great, you can call me Al. Don't know any other Paul Simon songs. Maybe that's my challenge for next year, to write a show where the jokes consist entirely of Paul Simon punchlines. Can I get away with this? You know what, I'm going to try anyway, because again, it's mine. I've actually been thinking about quitting comedy recently. I've not enjoyed it a great deal. I've really enjoyed tonight. I always feel bad when I say that, because it feels like I've shitted on the audience, but actually, you guys have been wonderful. But I got quite disillusioned with the stand-up scene. I don't really want to do it anymore. To be honest, since I moved to Manchester, I don't really want to do the travel anymore. There's nothing that appeals to me about going to Gateshead to be stared at for 10 minutes. I've been to just about all the conservative clubs in Britain and called them Tory wankers. I don't really have anything. And generally, I think if you've got nothing new to say, you shouldn't bother with the joke. And that's why I don't really talk much about politics. I only really have one joke about Brexit, and it stems from the time I was in London during one of the protests, and they were all protesting about freedom of movement, and I thought to myself, I'm not sure why they're worried about freedom of movement. I've not had that for 29 years, and I seem to be alright. Having said that, I am anti-Brexit, just so you know. At one of my gigs recently, I asked if anybody was a Brexit supporter. Out of a room of 50 people, one person stuck his hand up. That majority doesn't look so fucking good now, does it? To be honest, I've wheeled completely off my point, so I'm not sure where I was going with that. It's been fun. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, so I was close to quitting comedy a while ago, and one of the only reasons I thought I might do it is and I'll be honest with you, was for a little bit of a PR boost, because I figured if I took about 6 months off, I could come back with a comeback show. I was going to call it Spazarus. I shouldn't say things like that, because I get annoyed when people say things about me, but ultimately I think if I own it on stage, then that's fine, innit, you know. In much the same way that sometimes when I talk about being single, I say that I don't really have a type of woman, but it does turn out that I do look for some features in women. Ironically, it would appear I'm a leg man, which is a classic case of transference if I've ever heard of one, but there you go. One of the things I've never done, and one of the things I can't talk about, and to be honest I wouldn't anyway because it's shit-ass boring, is taking drugs. A lot of comedians do. Some of them should take more and go away. Sorry. Is that on film? Can I keep that? Yeah. You know, like, some do, some don't. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I've just never really wanted to do it myself. I'm obviously in a lot of pain sometimes with cerebral palsy, so it was suggested to me that I might do cannabis, you know, help me with the pain, but I think that would just make me paranoid and make me think the entire room was staring at me. And the last thing I'd want to do is lean on to something harder like cocaine, because if I did that I'd find myself jabbering on endlessly to a room full of people. You don't give a fuck what I'm saying. Well, guys, I've absolutely loved you, to be honest. I've probably seemed a little bit off key here and there. I'm just fucking weird and I haven't slept very well recently. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's great. It's been great to be here. If you did like me, I'd seek psychiatric help immediately. But you can also find me on Facebook under John Porter Comedy. You've probably guessed I'm desperate for human interaction, so send me likes, loves, put a brick through my window. I'd like to see you try and live in a block of flats. Unless you bring in like Tessa Sanderson with you, I think you're fucked, to be honest. But yeah, if you did like me, John Porter Comedy, no doubt I'll see you again. Well, you'll literally see me again. I'm about to try and get off this thing. Usually I have no trouble getting off, but I think this is going to be quite difficult. So yeah, I'll see you soon.